G'day guys, welcome to another Wednesday show. We're calling it, while it doesn't have a proper name, we're calling it the Gun Show. Supplying the guns, Aaron Macy. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Got them there.
Got the guns out. I'm well and truly rugged up. Look, we were out at Rose Hill this morning, weren't we? It was a chilly morning.
Yes, it was freezing to say the least.
It was. So we interviewed Gerald Ryan, who's our featured guest on today's show, but we're also checked out the trials out there, and there were some good horses.
Yeah, a few of the little spring stars were back. Exciting.
They were. So
I think it's a funny time of year because I get more excited for the trials this week than I do the races on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. No, they were classic, and last Friday you were out at Randwick as well, and there were some really good trials too.
Yep.
Also on today's show, we've got Glenn Pollitt makes a special appearance doing the mounting yard wrap from last week with Dallas, so that'll be always entertaining.
Yeah, I think the business might be owned in a receivership because we had to pay him extra just for that star opinion.
Exactly, and this week's shows, the Race Speed Profiles are back, so they're sponsoring the show this week. They've had a little 3-week freshen up. They're $59 a week, the Race Speed Profiles, or you can get the bulk package for the next 15 Saturdays for $699 and $13.49 for Melbourne and Sydney, or obviously $6.99 for either state. The Race Speed Profiles, look, as the boys have put some hard work in, and as we always say, it's not just a tipping service, it's an overall, it's just an in-depth analysis of how the race is going to be.
Just another add to you. Yep. It's something to add to your form and a good reference point, and they absolutely smashed it through the spring, and I think they'll be looking to do it again. Yeah,
I can definitely... hearing Dallas's voice, him and Vince are pretty pumped up. So the Race Speed Profiles are back this week. Grab them on our website now. There'll be links at the Race Speed Profiles. So they're back. Welcome back. Look, first of all, what we're going to do is throw to our interview with Gerald. Look, he at the start he gives us a great little insight into where he's come from and how he got to Rose Hill. He's been to Melbourne and Brisbane, but also some good answers on questions related to punting that you put to him.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. I always enjoy a couple of the old racing stories, which he touched on. And
he does.
Gave it to a few jockeys, which is outstanding.
He does, and Brenton Abdallah, who's also the gun. The show is not named after you, Brenton. He got a mouthful, but don't worry, it all ended up finishing well for Brenton. So let's throw to the interview with Gerald.
Enjoy.
All right, our interview series continues, and we've got Gerald Ryan. Welcome, Gerald.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Hi, Gerald. Good, Aaron.
Gerald, you've for those that don't know, you've been everywhere. You've been in Melbourne, Brisbane, and now Sydney. Do you want to just start us off, obviously, and the jockey to start with, and talk us how you got into the game?
All right, I was brought up on a dairy farm, and we were across the road from the Terrain Racecourse.
Yep, Terrain.
And we had ponies, of course, and all that, and all I ever wanted to do was be a jockey.
Yep.
But they kept telling me I was too big to be a jockey, I said I'll be a trainer then.
Yeah.
And I always classed my riding years as being a progressive to train.
Okay.
Yeah. And I used the excuse when I gave up riding when I was 32 that it was my weight. Well, I gave up in the end of June, and in the May I rode 49.5 in the Adelaide Cup. So
right.
it wasn't really my weight. But I had the opportunity to go and be foreman for John Hawkes.
Yeah. Okay.
And and I was there for a couple of years. It was good. Learned a lot off John, and then I run a big stable because I was with Owen Lynch in Melbourne, and sort of we never had any more than about 25 horses.
Yeah.
And we won a lot of races, 640 odd races as jockeys, but only won Group 1, and that was the All-Age Stakes here in Sydney on a horse called Bit of a Sky.
Okay.
And then I got the opportunity to join David Moody over Flemington, contract racing. I went there as foreman first, and then I got my own licence about a month later. And we went on from there. No, I was lucky. I was lucky right from the word go.
Kind of always just fell into place.
Always fell into place. We always had nice horses around us, and all I had to do was govern it.
Yeah.
And up in Brisbane, you were the trainers' premiership up there. Is that right?
Yeah, we won the trainers' premiership there 1 year, and
we
won up at the Gold Coast a couple of years. But whole idea of, started off with the idea of getting 10 boxes here in Sydney because we had 100 horses in work at the Gold Coast.
Yep.
And a few good ones start to filter around. There's Riz and Shaskay and Carmina. Carmina's the best Group 1 also had, but never won a Group 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shani ran in 2 of them. She ran second in the Salinger and second in the Galaxy.
Yeah, I remember that.
But she's a really good mare. And so we started off, we got going to get 10 boxes at Warwick Farm originally. And Johnny Holloway from the STC, he got the wind that we were looking for 10 boxes there, and they were building this complex here at the time, and they said, if we built boxes at Rose Hill, would you take a barn? So I spoke to Eric Cowell about it, and we said we would. So we got 20 boxes there where Gary Moore is now, and that's where we were first. And I had Jim Mason here at Foreman, and then we went quite well. The boxes were always full here, and we still had 100 odd and work up there. And then we started to get a bit bigger, and so we moved up to where Kenny Mann was. He was up there, and they had 40 boxes. Chris Waller's there now. Yeah. And we moved in there, and it was going really good. I started to get a lot of Sydney owners, a lot of studs, and that were giving us horses to train, and it started to get to the way where, I had 40 horses here and 80 horses up at the Gold Coast, and I was travelling backwards and forward, and Jim was with us for about 2 years, and then Matty Dunn joined us. Yep. And Matty was looking after the place here. And then up at Easter Sales one year, I thought, it was a year Monmecki won the Oaks. I thought, it might be time to make a move down here permanently, and which I did, and we were here for probably 5 years, I suppose, 4 years. And then the complex here was being built, and it fell through for who it was getting built for, so there's 100 boxes sitting here doing nothing. So I asked for 75 of them, so that happened. It was 12 months, it was a year before EI that we moved over here in the November. Matthew was still with us then, and we ended up with 75 horses here and sort of 50 at the Gold Coast. At the end of that financial year, we worked out we'd won, still ran 5th in the Premiership in Brisbane, and trained, I think we trained 53 winners for the year or something. 27 of those were in the metropolitan tracks. And we'd done the finances at the end of June. Gold Coast had lost money.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Rose Hill, in the 8 years we'd been here, was always the worst year we had in finished level.
So is that just due to prize money?
No, it was a prize money, perhaps also around the time, but we won a lot of $100,000 races in Queensland that last year. I think we won about 6, so that would have helped. And the cost was the same. Your feed's the same in Brisbane as what Queensland is what it is here. Your staff got paying the same. So that was, say, the first week in July of that year, and we decided to close it down and notified all the owners. We closed it down to the end of July and just concentrate on here in Sydney. And that was the year EI, because I just closed down the Gold Coast, and 3 weeks later EI broke out. So
perfect timing.
It was perfect timing.
And, one thing that didn't fall into place.
Yeah, that's right. But then that was good. And Matthew, as I say, Matthew was still with us, and we had a bit of luck, but we were locked down for 3 months, and we had 62 horses here in work, and I think it gave you a lot of time to sit back and think about life and think about things and think about what you were doing. And as much as it was a bugbear and awful strain on everyone, the EI, well, I think we come out the other end of it better, and we've probably done things a little bit different since, and it's been good.
Okay. What are some of the things that you changed from then?
Oh, probably the way you think, and change a bit of your feet around, change your working hours. We used to start at 3:30 in the morning, now the staff don't start until 4:30.
Yeah.
Just a couple of little things we worked around. I think it's changed around, and it's worked out quite well.
Okay.
We can start with let's look at your sort of, how do you see your role as a trainer? Sort of like the Gay Waterhouse philosophy is she shoots for the stars and tries to get, you know, Group 1s as stallions. Waller seems to be more of a prize money man. How does your state, what's your sort of idealistic
She's always been known for having a
business?
good eye at the sales.
Well, we go there and buy our own yearlings, and don't think I don't like that people put you down as a 2-year-old trainer, but I've run derbies and I've run Oakses and
so that's something that you don't agree with.
I've run placings in when the cups used to be 2 miles. I ran placings, 3 placings in a Perth Cup, a couple of placings in the Adelaide Cup, Brisbane, couple of placings in the Brisbane Cup, second in the Sydney Cup. They're all 2-mile races, stays, and but you go to the sales and no one ever asks you to go to the sales and buy a Derby winner or a cup horse. Everyone asks you to go to the sales and buy a Golden Slipper winner or a Magic Millions winner. So we go to the sales and we look for those horses. And we go in there looking for stayers when the owners want a good return.
You'll be stuck with it otherwise.
But we go there and a few of us get there looking, and Sterling, my foreman now, it used to be Matthew and I used to go look at the studs, and then Sterling and I go look at the studs probably 6 weeks prior to Magic Beans and 6 weeks prior to Easter, and we look around and make a short list, and by the time we get to the sales, Damien Flower has a big bearing on it. I run a lot of things by him, and him and I are sort of like much the same type of horse, and whether Damien buys the horse or buys into the horse, or whether I buy it for other clients, Damien's always there with us, and it's just a process of elimination, and we like to get them up and going early, and my boss was good at it when I was apprentice to Owen. He was good at getting them up and going early in the preparation. So it sort of stems from there. But my idea out looking, you go out there and you find a colt, then I'll make a stallion. That's what you do, and we've been lucky. Like first year Damien and I went to the sales together. It was the year after Clangalang had won the Derby, and Damien was in Clangalang, and he said, I'll buy a yearling for doing such a good job with Clangalang. Well, he said, we'll do it at the Magic Millions, because that year we still had horses with other people, and he was buying yearlings for them that year at Easter. So we went to the Magic Millions. I was thinking, Damien will probably forget by the time Magic Millions come around. And we done our homework, and Damien done his homework, and we come up with 3 colts that we wanted, that we thought if they could gallop, they'd make stallions. And the horses turned out to, the 3 colts we had on our final list was turned out to be Gonski, Stratum, and Snitzel. And Snitzel was the first one to come into the ring, and he was the cheapest. That's how come we were going to spend 120 grand on him. We ended up spending 260, and it sort of all stemmed from there.
Wow, that's outstanding. If you have another 3 like that for next year, just let us know.
We'll do, but you go there. Look, I've been lucky, Hinchinbrook was supposed to go to a sale ring, and his mother had died giving birth to him through EI, and Francois lives up at Hinchinbrook Island. Because he had bred Snitzel and Wiener and Royal Snippets and all those horses, and he said to me, I'll go up and have a look at the Fastnet Rock colt. If you like him, I won't sell him. He's just starting his prep at Yarraman, and anyhow, I remember I was at Canterbury Races, and I run Harry and told him I've got to come up and have a look at Fastnet Rock colt, our Snippets Lass. And he goes, why? I said, franchise said he wasn't going to sell him. Well, I can't say what Harry said down the phone, but he said, you better get up here and have a look at it, because I'm not going to do a preparation with him and then not go to the sales. So that was on a Wednesday. I went up there on the Thursday, run Francois, and said I like the horse, and that's how I ended up with Hinchinbrook. He only won 2 races, and then I lost him to Melbourne, but he come out and was really good.
How hard is it when you lose some of those good horses?
Look, I look at it this way, that owners, the owners' horses, they pay the bills. We don't own them. We only train the darn things. And it's their prerogative. If they want to move them. And so it doesn't worry me. They're the owners. They pay the bills. Might be a bit different if they're not paying the bills, but You don't like seeing a horse go, but you win some, you lose some. I get some, I got horses with other people that have been good to me, and vice versa, so it doesn't really worry me.
Okay. Well, you touched on you like getting them up early. That's something in the market, just in the marketplace, is seeing that you are a first, well renowned for being a first, second up trainer. Is there something you do different, or you do focus? Why is that?
No, I just make sure the horses are fit and happy when they go to the races. Especially here in Sydney, you've got to trial them and all that. And my guys used when you're at Flemington, you didn't have to trial them. When you're at the Gold Coast, you didn't have to trial them. It used to be good, Suit some of the punters. But it's you got to trial them here, and that's the difference in trialling. If you tell an owner you're going to go to the races without trialling, they find it hard to fathom here in Sydney that you haven't trialled them.
Yeah.
And I basically only trial here at Rose Hill.
Yeah.
I don't go. I go to Warwick Farm if I have to. Very rarely I go to Randwick.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of to do with the costs.
Yeah.
Because for us to go from Rose Hill to Randwick, it costs. You get no change out $500 for a trial.
Yeah.
With the trial entries, your staff, your float trip.
Wow.
You leave here at 6:30 in the morning. You don't get back until 1 o'clock, and quite often a lot of horses end up going there for a trial and come home and they're flattened. I've seen that happen. You've lost the preparation with them because they come back flattened.
Okay.
Where here at home, you just got to walk up there,
them over.
25 minutes before their trial, they come home, they're back in their box.
Yeah.
Is it still, do you guys still have some good times out in the hut looking at the jump outs and stuff at Rose Hill and finding little secret horses that can sneak through to the keeper? Or are those days over? There's too many eyes out there.
There's few eyes out there, but there's not that many here at Rose Hill. You get out there, you look at there's probably 8 trainers here at Rose Hill.
Yeah.
But you get out there and you've got Michael Hawkes and Gary Moore and Chris and myself, and that's about all you see out there.
Yeah, okay.
You don't see many people. You mainly concentrate on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once some of the bigger horses, once they get a name and that, well, you see them. And sometimes you can keep an eye on them, other times you can't. But the best part about looking at how a horse is going is looking at them more than what actually its work is watching them. But you don't have to run time to know you've got a good horse. You're sitting there watching a horse work, and
so it's more in the action of the horse.
Action.
It's just something you see.
Yeah, just something. It's hard to explain, but it's just the way they're going.
Okay. You've introduced the Hawkesbury stable. How long have you had that for?
We opened that about the 1st of May.
Okay.
Mainly to run a few horses from out of there, pre-train a few. At the moment we've got a couple of breeze up horses out there that are going to the breeze up sales. But we'll run Solicit when she come back off an awful run, and I trialled her here.
Yeah, that's right. She was
10
near
days
retirement,
later.
wasn't she?
She went out there and it turned her around.
Yeah.
New lease on life.
New lease on life. A couple that hasn't helped so much as yet, but still getting the feel of the place. And but the horses that ones that are coming in for pre-training, they're coming in really good. Horse runs on Saturday, and you send them out there until the Friday or the Monday, and they come back in, or you leave them out there and race there.
And some of them have had to change a stable in the form guide, like Hawkesbury trained. Is that right?
Yeah, when they're in work at Hawkesbury, I have to change the stable return.
Okay.
And mainly if something goes wrong,
So
Racing New South Wales knows where they are.
Yeah. So basically, if the punters see a horse from Hawkesbury, they can just maybe assume that you're trying something different, or it needs a relaxed environment or something like that.
Yeah. Just give them a change of environment. Different, relaxed. It's good out there. There's other places where you can go and work and trot, and you don't have to go to the track. So, if there is anything lacking here at Rose Hill, there's no variety.
Yeah.
But horses are creature of their habits, and they adapt to their situations. And like routine, I'm a stickler for routine, and we've got the 3 barns, and I always work from the same. The first barn first, the second barn, and the bottom barn. Always working, and then horses are working around about the same time every morning.
You touched on Japanese horses. Would it be something you'd look to do down the track?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I went over there last year to the sales, and they looked after me terrific, and they took the North Farms, and you look at, I think they had 31 stallions or something at North Farms, and we saw 13 of them. They were sensational looking horses, And then we went to their pre-training place. Well, they had babies there. They canter around after the sales. Those 2-year-olds, probably not after the sales, because the sales early. They canter around this indoor 1100 metre track for 6 months.
Wow.
They canter around there for 6 months before they go over to the trainer side. And horses are basically never spelled in an open paddock like we do. And we're about the only country in the world, I think, that does that.
Right.
And there's a really good 3-year-old there. I just can't think of his name. He'd won 2 Group 1s, and he was having 6 weeks off, but he was only spelling in his box.
Is that right?
Yeah, spelling in his box. And so, as I say, they're creature of habits, and they do it. And I just wonder whether, because they're always working, they're always doing something, that's why they grow into big, strong, tough horses,
Yep.
They never get fat.
Yep.
Yeah.
They look lean and mean, but gee, they're hard to beat on the racetrack.
Yeah, my word. Yeah. They've had great success in coming to Australia.
Well, even Europe, Red Godot, I reckon, when you look at what Red Godot's done over the last 4 or 5 years, when he's ever had a break?
No,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And Branson Abdallah, you've managed to secure him, or you've sort of helped him, I suppose, as well, secure himself as one of the top 5 in Sydney, maybe top 4. What's it like having Brenton on board?
Well, I remember when Brenton first came up from Melbourne, and John Maloney, because he was apprenticed to John, and John and I grew up a little bit together at Epsom, and John said, I take this kid, he rides really good, look after him, and see if you can give him a hand. Well, I give him one ride and he slaughtered it. I gave him another ride at, it was a midweek meet at Canterbury, and I rung Mark Van Treat on the way home, and I said, never ever ring me for that kid again. I said, he's bar. So, which I do that to jockeys a little bit, bar him for a little while. And anyhow, it was I had a mare, turned into a good mare. It was later on, so perhaps say November and October, and I had her in Canterbury on a Friday night, and here at Rosehill on a Saturday. I forget who was riding. I think Kieran might have been going to ride it at Canterbury, and I didn't have a rider for Saturday. It was in a 1300 metre race here, and it had no weight, but she was going really good, and she hadn't raced for quite a while, and she was going really well. And so I put Brenton on and claimed 2 off. He was still claiming 2 then. He took 2 off her, so she carried 51 kilos or something.
Yeah.
Mare called Dances on Waves. And he won on her here, and then he went to Randwick, and he won on her at Randwick, and he went back to Randwick, and I might have come back here and won again, and then she won the Villiers.
Yeah.
And it's probably all stemmed from there,
Yeah.
And Brenton Stark only come out once a week or twice a week, and now he'll come out whenever I want him, But he's good. Sometimes you've got to pull his coat a little bit. And there the weekend when there was a story and those stats and that start going about last season, and he said to me Saturday, I think it was Saturday, he said, oh, what do you think of the story? And I said, oh yeah, the story was good, but forget about it. Worry about next year. Don't start believing your own publicity.
Right.
But Brenton's great to work with. He's a good judge, and he's good to work with, and you can give him a bake and give him a pay, and you got the drag off a couple of horses through owners and all that. And, but I find him terrific. He's a good judge, and he tells you what he thinks. I think a lot of the syndicates and that don't like him because of it.
Yeah.
Is that something you have to manage with him a bit when you know you're speaking with certain owners?
Well, I always reckon they're professionals, they're adults, and if they hang themselves, they hang themselves,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lost horses owners sticking up for a jockey. But also, look, I was a jockey once. It made me living out of a jockey, and that's all I did was make a living out of it. But I know what they go through. There's a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
When I was riding, you were riding No, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Now the poor buggers have got to ride every day of the week plus night time, you know. They don't have to because they're their own bosses. But if they don't say go to Wyong for me on a Thursday or someone else gets in, they loses a ride. But I also believe, and Huey Bowman, Michael Carr, when he was riding for us in Queensland, he used to say the more he rides, the better he rides. And Huey says the same thing, because I remember going to the carnival a couple of years ago. I said to Huey, he had 4 or 5 rides at Gosford, and I said, why are you going there 2 days out before a derby? And he said, if I'm riding, I keep my eye in and I keep fit, and I ride better. Yeah. And I suppose that's a lot, and I think that's like with Brenton, he rides work 5 mornings a week, and as well as working out, as well as sweat and all that, and I reckon that's why he's riding better.
Could it be paying off that flashy car?
I don't know. The flashy car, it's only wrapped up anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's only in a wrap. Looks only go skin deep.
Yeah, very true, very true.
Talking about, you just touched on, barring jockeys. Who is anyone that you've had a bit of a fallout with lately that you don't want to put on? You won't see on a horse for a bit. But
no, I don't say.
No.
I remember one little bloke had a ride for us at Ramwick. He remained nameless. But, if he sees it, he'll know who it is. And
he's little. That's all you've narrowed it down to.
Blake knew him, and Blake's were mates of his, and it was Sean Gormer. He rode one for us, and he went 100 mile an hour on it at Ramwick, one of Scott Darby's horses.
Yeah.
And anyhow, when he come back in, Blake was in there getting saddled for the next race, and Sean said to Blake, my son, oh, your old man didn't come into the mountain yard. He said, there might be real wise in there. He said, when he doesn't come back in the mountain yard, you're in big trouble.
Okay.
I remember one time, I give Wayne Harris a pay one day at Flemington. He rode Racer's Edge. No, it wasn't Racer's Edge. It was another horse. By Snippets. He'd won 3 straight, and Wayne rode it. I told him to lead on it, and he pulled his head off and got in behind all the horse. What I did was climb the fence. I remember Simon Marshall. I let him have it one day in Blamey Stakes, I think it was.
Okay.
Well, it might have been the Craigley riding Baryshnikov. I let him really have it, Simon still talks about it now.
Some of the classic sprays.
Yeah. But I've learned now I don't do it on a racecourse.
Okay.
I'll say something to him after.
Yeah.
It's the only one you upset on the racecourse is yourself.
Yeah. How hard is it holding in those emotions?
Well, sometimes you just got to look at me.
Yeah.
But people say grumpy or rude or that at the races, but I always say at the races, it's in our office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things can go haywire for one reason or the other. I hate biased tracks. I hate slow run races. And, sometimes you just got no hope.
Well, let's talk about that right now, because there's plenty of biased tracks around New South Wales at the moment, and the pace is generally. They seem to go a bit slower in Sydney as they do. Maybe it's just an overall trend in Australia, but how frustrating is the current situation with racing?
I honestly believe, I've always said it, if they didn't have movable rails or false rails, you wouldn't get biased racing.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we got biased racing.
Yeah, okay.
I walk this track here at Rose Hill, I give up. You walk this track here at Rose Hill of a morning, race morning.
Yep.
And there's no reason why the fence should be off.
Yeah.
But why, gee, it races that way.
It does race that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
So you think the solution could just be keep the rails in the normal position?
Yeah, I've always said it.
Yeah.
I've always said it, yeah. We used to have to do it. There's no movable rails in. I know it's whole cliche saying in the old days, but
no, it's when racing was
let the
going
jockeys
much
find
better.
the best going.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't force their hand. And the speed. A lot of the racing is tempo related too. Really.
Yeah.
I hear a race the other day, and the 1400 3-year-old, they went out pretty solid early, but then they get down to the 1,000 metre mark, and they stacked up, and all of a sudden they're going from rolling on at 12 to the furlong to going 14 to the furlong.
Yeah.
It gives the back markers no hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Just on form, how important is form for you? Do you do it yourself, or do you have someone help you do it, or?
Sterling's very good on the form, so is Blake and Brenton's really good on his form, but I've got my own little way of doing it. I don't go way back like you boats to what I was done 12 months ago. I'll only do their form over there about the last 3 or 4 starts.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's good.
And you know, I get a good gift of it myself, but I'm not a punter, so I probably don't do as good as punters do. But I get an idea where it is, and quite often I'm right.
Yeah, it's more about placing the horse and just knowing where it's going to try and find the race that can win.
Look, I don't mind. I might tell a jockey to ride a horse. If a jockey rides a horse the way I ask him to ride and gets beat, it's my fault.
Yeah.
It's not the bloke's fault.
Yeah.
But or a jockey that uses his own initiative, and I hate seeing a horse jump a neck in front and getting dragged out.
Yeah, exactly.
I reckon the only time you're on a level playing field with the rest of them is in the barriers.
Yeah.
I hate a horse missing the start, and I hate seeing a jockey jump neck a half length in front and drag him out the back door.
Yeah.
There's only any advantage you've had is throwing out the window.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. I guess just based here at Rose Hill, the Waller Juggernaut, like how what is it all? What's your take on it all? It's obviously he's filling up, he's providing plenty of horses in the races and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that part doesn't worry me because if Chris didn't have him, someone else would.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't think he's got a great bearing on.
Do you guys ever talk during a week?
Yeah, Chris and I talk.
Yep.
I first met Chris when I took horses to Queensland. Chris was probably 18 or 19, and we stayed at Nebo Lodge up there. It was called Ancient Ritual. I can't think of the horse. I first met Chris then.
Okay.
And then he was here. He moved here the same year as I did.
Yeah.
And sure, he's struggling. We used to talk to us all the time about the way things were. And he was struggling, and I admire Chris for where he's got to. And there's a lot of jealousy goes on in this game, and I just admire Chris for where he's got to and what he's done. And he's got a good team around him, and they work well. And it's the same old story. Winners and success breeds winners and success.
Yeah.
That's what Chris has done.
Yep.
But he's good, and he works hard at it, and good luck to him, I reckon. But like I say, everyone survived, and Tommy Smith was dominant.
Yeah, dominant.
For a long time, and everyone else here in Sydney seemed to survive. And I think here with Chris, everyone survived. If Chris didn't have those 6 or 7 horses in the first trial there today, well, someone else would have had them,
Yeah.
Well, I can see the day not far away where there's probably going to be a race where you've got 8 runners and they're all Chris Wallace.
Yeah.
Good luck to him, Love to be the bugbear, put one in and beat him.
Well, just on success, how do you gauge your own success each year and goals, targets?
Well, I don't really keep records. I wouldn't know how many winners I trained. In the time, I wouldn't have a clue. I think Blake tells me it's 29 Group 1 winners, but I just go from one race to the other. And as far as targets, well, you like to target the horses or wherever. And I always say you take a horse to... I get as much kick at taking a horse to Gosford and winning a maiden at Gosford, because that Gosford maiden that horse's Melbourne Cup, it might never win another race.
Yeah.
And I remember, I gonna have an easy kill with Clangalang, his first start in a race, so we took him up to Newcastle on Stradbroke Day, and I was up at the Stradbroke and said to Alan Thomas and Larry Olsen, come and watch this, I reckon this is a real good horse. And he goes, do you? And I said, yeah. And they said, it's only got a clang. I said, no, I reckon this is a really good horse. And would have been no good for you, Blake, because he's a bad trial and an awful track worker.
Right.
Yeah. And anyhow, he goes to Newcastle and gets beat 6 lengths.
Really?
Yeah.
But he come back here on a Sunday, Paul Hammersley come down and rode him, and he won easy. Then I took him to Queensland, and he should have won a $100,000 race up there, but he got 3 checks in the first 300 metres, and he probably straightened up, without kidding, 20 lengths off the leader. So he got beat 3/4 length.
Yeah.
I reckon he ran the fastest section of 400 at Eagle Farm ever.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he come back here, and I think he won here, and everyone's saying, because he used to get back, put blinkers on it. So Mark Flaherty and Simon Marshall here at the time riding work, and Mark rode him here, and I think it was the Far Lap Stakes, which is now the Golden Rose. And we put blinkers on. He couldn't hold him.
Really?
Couldn't hold him.
No,
Yeah.
couldn't hold him. He just charged. But then he come back and I took the blinkers off and he went to Newcastle and won the Spring Stakes, and then Lenny Beasley rode him in the Champion Stakes, and there's one jockey at Bard never put back on.
Beasley?
After that day.
Which Beasley?
Lenny. Yeah. He's also used to get back and get home. For some reason he led.
Yeah.
Never led in his life.
You touched on blinkers and gear. How do you know when to put gear on what hole?
Oh, you get an idea watching them of a morning.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of cold stairs in there. I put blinkers on flying Achilles this morning, and I've been saying ever since he started, he's a dead set blinker horse. Yeah. Blinker horse. And there's a couple of others like that, and I don't like putting them on there. We had a filly trial this morning. She works every day in blinkers.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a thing, and works every day. And yet she's had 2 trials without them, but I'll put them on a race day. But because Josh Parr come in this morning and said, "Oh, this thing," and he didn't know.
Oh, right.
He said, come in and said, "I reckon this needs blinkers." I said, "Well, it works every day in them."
Yeah.
But you'd like to see him go to the trials and let them see and learn what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get earmuffs. Thank to Chris Swallows probably bought earmuffs in here. They can work enormous on some horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, enormous.
Enormous?
Yeah.
And just before we wrap up, the new racing season, what horses have you got that you're most excited about?
A couple there. Deploy.
Yep.
A trial this morning. He won a trial in the autumn, and he won a trial or ran second. You win or ran second?
Yeah,
He
you won, I think.
Won late, yeah.
They had water in a good trial this morning. I'm quite excited about him. Young horse coming through his grades. A lot of people probably haven't got much opinion of him yet, but I reckon he's a really nice stayer in the making. He's Civilians.
Okay.
Civilians.
He took a couple of runs, 3 runs for them. We're only going to give him
Good
3
run
runs.
at Wyong, wasn't it?
And spelling, and then took a long time for the penny to drop.
Yep.
And he won a 2100 metre maiden, giving him a huge start, his last start. Well, he's just come back
monster
in,
win.
and he looks sensational. He's big and strong, and reminds me very much. I didn't have Einstein as a young horse. I never got Einstein until he was 4-year-old, and he was in he was trialling really good here. And Mitchell Beedman was riding him all the time. And he was in Canterbury, and I said, Duncan Grimley, I said, tell Singo you can have a bet on that horse. He said, and after he won at $38, I was speaking to Duncan, I said, tell Singo to have something on it, and he told me, if that horse wins, Gerald Ryan's on drugs. If he reckons that horse can win, Gerald Ryan's on drugs, because it is the slowest horse that's ever walked off Strawberry Hill. And then he won $1 million.
Yeah, he's a good horse for your stable.
But when he come to me, he had all this gear on him and rah, and he was a bit of a character. But he come in, we just went back to basics. With probably the help from little bloke up at Evergreen Lodge, who was there at the time. He was doing the work with him, and he come to me, and we went back to basics, and he was a terrific old horse for us. But he adapted to our situation really good, and Sabinians reminds me of that horse a little bit,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One last question. You said you spoke about your whole career, you always wanted to be a jockey and then a trainer. If you were to start again now, would you do it all again?
Yes.
Yeah. Even in today's climate of racing?
It'd be a lot harder starting off today than what it was. And I was very fortunate and very lucky to support David Moody when I started off. But as Gary Murphy said to me, hiding nothing, Gerald. And, Gary said, if you train winners, yeah, he's lucky because you start off with training the horses. If you're going to train a winner, it's your fault, not the horses' fault. But I wouldn't do anything different.
No, it's good. Thanks for your time.
Okay, no worries.
Thanks, Gerald. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and we'll do another one very soon. All right. That was Gerald Ryan. Look, he's a wealth of knowledge, and he also gave us a couple of horses to follow there at the end.
Yes, it was exciting. A couple of horses that have trialled well.
Yeah, one of them trialled today, Deploy.
deploy. Yeah, he trialled well against a couple of nice horses in press statement.
Yeah.
But I think one thing we noticed with Gerald, usually he's got a lot of up and running 2-year-olds, where last season he kind of didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
But so I think we'll see a couple of nice unraced and lightly race 3-year-olds this season.
Yeah, it should be good. He'll be in for a good little carnival, I'm tipping. Where's that was brought to you by the Race B Profiles, who are back this weekend, $59 a set, or there's packages available online. So next up we're going to do a little barrier trial wrap, as you've been a busy boy Friday at Randwick and this morning at Rose Hill.
Yes, both days exciting.
They were.
I think saw a couple of the horses there for their second trials as well, which means we're getting really close to finally having some good horses back at the races, and less of this low benchmark Wednesday racing on a Saturday prize money.
Yep. What do you want to? Who do you want to start with from Friday's trials?
We've got a few of them there. Pornichet was back for his second trial. They dropped him right out the back early, let him find the line down the straight. He started the sprint well, and you could just see he still died on his run, and it's quite interesting that even though he come off such a short break, you think he'd have the residual fitness, he still does look to be a little bit fat.
Okay.
So I think I wouldn't be surprised to see him possibly have one more, or have a little, maybe 3 weeks at least before he's back at the races.
Okay.
But he does look to be going well. He does look healthy, but I think that trial should bring him right on.
Yeah, and Marky Newnham gave us a little tip on last week's show, saying expect him. He's not in the stable too early. Expects the horse to go all the way through to the Cox Plate, maybe even a Melbourne Cup. Yeah,
he made a good point with those stallions. He said they're better off keeping them in work all the time, because they do easily get fat, and that was even something Gerald mentioned today as well. So yeah. Interesting. Another horse that's in the same trial was Adrift. We saw her win first up off a short break last time at 100 to 1.
Yep, God bless it.
God bless it.
And Nick's little tip there, on the Trackwork show.
I gave it a push, and neither of us backed it, and so
silly boys.
Hopefully we don't make that mistake again. But look, she looks to be going well. I love the way she trialled. Nice, quiet, just sat there, worked home. Looks to have come back stronger. Another one, Kermadec, he had his second quiet trial. He was also nom for a trial today, but was scratched.
Yeah.
So he's either... I wouldn't be surprised to actually see him at the races, because he just really looks to be going well.
Yep.
Another one. I know Nick and a few other, or just every time you go anywhere near Randwick, you hear about Speak Fondly. But English trialled in the same trial as her, and if you're just betting purely off the trials, not in a million years I could say that Speak Fondly would be beating English.
Yep.
She's come back good. She sat there, worked home under a hold.
Yeah, real interesting one, because the stable is just spruiking Speak Fondly, but for those that don't listen to stable spruiks and just watch trials, English all the way with us, but it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. She was always the horse that I preferred out of the two. Mm-hmm. She's a horse that I had a good opinion of. I think she will take a lot of rocking and rolling in these fillies 3-year-old races throughout the carnival.
Sounds good.
Excess Knowledge. He's always been a horse. He looked, when he first got here, he's a horse that caught your eye from the yards. He's big, he's black, he's strong. But he's kind of taken a while for the penny to drop.
Yeah.
As Gay always likes to put. He won at the end of last prep, and now he's come back. He's trialled well. I really like his trial. He's starting to race a little bit more kind and travel nicely, and he attacked the line quite good. I think she's just starting to really work him out, and he might have just learnt to settle in Australia.
Okay.
She's talking about him being her best Cups horse chance.
Yeah.
Where what that means and where he goes, I don't know. But I do think he'll be a good chance of winning quite early in his prep.
Okay, that's interesting.
And just with the 2-year-olds, Haptic, wow, just mind-blowingly, wow.
He's back, yeah.
He's come back a completely different horse since the gelding. He went to the front, he travelled. I think one of Gay's horses was whipped and had blinkers on and was chasing him, and it was like he had the handbrake on. It was outstanding trial, but there are whispers that I believe he could be going to Dubai.
Yeah, he's on the Shakes shopping list we're here.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame, but I guess he has been sending us horses like Contributor and Heart, and also I guess we've got to
Yeah, give them one or two.
Yeah, the good with the bad with the good. And another horse, it trialled in blinkers. I tend not to like horses that do trial in blinkers often, especially first trial back. But Red Zell from the Snowden camp, wow, very impressive. There's a big rap from the stable, I think, at the end of last prep.
Yep.
He won first up, and then his last run, a little bit unlucky, and they put a fortune on him. He's come back a bigger, stronger boy, and he'll take some rocking and rolling first up.
Okay, sounds good. And from today?
Yeah, State Rose Hill, as you were out there with me, Matty. Found a couple of nice
we had
horses.
a good time out there. We sat next to Team Waller, and they had their laptops out, and they took the trials very seriously, as they always do.
Yes, I think God, he's just a hard worker, Chris. He's just
very organised.
Yeah, very organised. Doesn't waste a second, and he just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Two horses of his to start off were Preferment, two stayers. Preferment trialled outstanding, and so did Who Shot the Barman. Both horses looked to be going good, but very much so. I think Preferment. I know he failed in his last start. I don't know what went wrong with him, but he just could be a better spring horse.
Okay. Yep.
I've just got this inkling suspicion that he actually prefers the dry tracks. He looks to have come back a more furnished horse. I think he can really, with horses like Fortella and some of those older stayers are starting to. I don't think they're racing at their best.
No.
I think he could be one of those ones that makes the leap from 3-year-old to a really genuine weight for age.
Yep.
Stayer.
Okay.
Another horse, Gerald, he mentioned it today actually, Flying Achilles. That's a horse that was quite green on debut. He then went to Warwick Farm and he was still fat as a pig, which is quite weird, especially for a Gerald horse who tends to have them quite fit early. Yep. He trialled with blinkers today. I'm assuming he'll keep those blinkers on to go straight to the races, and he did look like he'd tightened up quite a lot from the run. I'll be expecting him to take some beating in a midweek maiden. A good friend of the show, Jeremy, found this horse, Boban.
Yeah, in the Stradbroke, was it?
In the Stradbroke. And he's just like an old bottle of red. He's just getting better with age at the moment. His trial today, as you saw.
Yeah, it was... Well, look, Boban went off. He went real quiet for a couple of seasons, or a season or so, and he wasn't even trialling as well as he used to. But today, he looks back to his best, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that trip to Queensland. The old Queensland sun might have done the trick, but he was at the 600. He was just bolting, and he's just pulled himself all the way through the field. Outstanding trial.
I'm thinking, look, having the Queensland form residually, he'll be right to go maybe real early, while the others are coming back. I
think he's always, even though on paper his form never read that well first up, I've always thought he's raced well first up. He just necessarily hasn't found the right races, and there was a time where he was unlucky.
Yeah.
A horse that's in on Saturday, Messine, nice quiet trial today. Horse looks to be going well, and I'd expect a pretty forward showing first up. And two of the now 3-year-olds, Press Statement and Deploy.
Yep.
Press Statement's come back great order, nice quiet trial, sat third. We spoke to Ty, he's over the moon with him, and said wouldn't be surprised to see if he becomes a Cox Plate horse.
Yeah, it's a big call. He looked, he tried really well, but a little bit more dour than what we've maybe seen previously, which is only bodes well for longer distances.
Yeah, dour. He just looks a more relaxed horse. And having those races, maturing, and he really looks to be furnishing into a nice horse. And even the way he tacked the line, he kind of did it with grace and a lot more relaxed than the way he used to do it before.
It's a good sign for the owners.
And the horse of Gerald's that he mentioned, Deploy, trialled well. Two good trials now. Expect it to be awfully hard to beat in a maiden.
Yeah.
And one other horse that I have been keeping a close eye on, it's come from New Zealand. Its name's Start Wondering. It's in the Waller camp now.
Yeah.
Trialled well the other day in a slow pace race, won the heat, and he's ran I think third today in around heat 7. Really nice horse. Looks rather forward. We had a quick look at him over at the tie-up stalls. He was quite tightened up, and I'd expect him to give a real forward showing first up as well. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for the barrier trial wrap for the last week and today. Yes, excellent. Next we're going to throw to special guest Glenn Pollitt, who joins us on the Wednesday/Gun Show for the first time, along with Dallas, to talk about the horses from Rose Hill on Saturday.
Thank you, Aaron and Matt. Are you happy to be on Aaron's show, Glenn? No.
Anyway, just maintain your excitement. And it's time for us to look at some of the key runners from the yard on Saturday, as we have been doing with Aaron, and he's been giving his input, but it's now time for your input. Do you reckon you might add a little bit more to it than Aaron does?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Off to a good start. You've said 2 words. Marty Glenn is a horse we've spoken about a bit. Her first 2 runs, she paraded very big first up. Really hadn't made a significant improvement second up, but had trimmed down a lot, but still did a couple of things wrong on Saturday.
Yeah, still plenty of improvement, Dale. Probably another. Look, next run I'll be interested in going up a distance, and then the next run she'll be at optimum peak.
With just, as we said, she'd improved a lot, but just the way that she stuck on there the last little bit, it was the first sort of promising signs a little bit, considering that she does still have a bit
signs of Gay this time of year. You know, Gay's back in town. The whole stable's going to be improving, and you know, I'm going to be. I've been worried about Marty at all this preparation. I'm going to be interested in the next start, and more interested in us going up distance.
All right, lovely.
I've just said the same thing twice.
All right. Well, do you want to say the same thing? Probably going to say the thing about Countryman. First up, had plenty up his sleeve. Probably improved. What would you say?
3 to 4 lengths.
Yeah, and probably still got that again, hasn't he?
I'd say he's got it again, and definitely a horse to follow.
Yeah.
Horse to follow. Races on the pace. Typical Gay. Blah blah blah.
Oh, just with Gay, are we starting to see the horses get screwed down a little bit more now?
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely the stable's screwing down. Well, she's back. Can you imagine? She's back. The brooms are out. Orgy's off.
Yep.
Back in the game.
Gay's on. Just on being screwed down at the moment. It's not the time of year that the Godolphin stable and previously Snowden stable fire, but we're generally seeing that in the parade yard, and it's been one that you've been able to nail year in, year out. Horses just generally soft from the blue colours.
This time of year. Yeah, don't want to be involved with them. It's just that time of year, or maybe it's the way the state, maybe it's something to do with the rotation of the horses coming from the farms. I don't know what it is, but it shows up in the ring. So.
And normally you are right on top of it.
Thank you, Dallas.
Yeah, lovely. So when
it's doing a lot better in life than shouldn't I, really?
You should be, but when it's time to go, you're only just helping people, though.
Story of my life.
Lovely. Fell Swoop, Glenn. You talk about if it's 3 or 4 lengths Countryman, Fell Swoop was even more from first up.
Really improved. Come on.
Yeah.
Probably 2 lengths off its best, but a talented horse. Has the right racing position, good stable, it'll keep winning races.
And the other interesting runner in that race was Honoris. First time we'd seen it.
First time we'd seen it, I was really impressed with it, but it was right close to top. I know it was a touch unlucky. Going forward, it's the sort of horse, I'm going to be wary of it. I don't like backing horses who are unlucky when they're optimum.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Especially
something like Fell Swoop, I can see just keeps winning.
Especially when it was, it did drift in the market, but did start second favourite anyway, but it is going to be highly marked, isn't it? But it is
good horse, but is it a boom horse?
Yeah, that's right, exactly. But the way that it walks is the good horse walk, isn't it?
Yeah, the good horse walk.
Lovely. All right. Well, anything else from the weekend that you took your fancy, or is that's about the key runners from the yard?
I think they're the key runners from Saturday, Dell, and like that early horse I mentioned on the Punters show that raced on Friday in Canberra. It's called
Beau Tarage.
Thanks, Matt, in the background, because I'd forgotten his name. Beau Tarage. It's a really smart horse.
That's from Friday. Anyway, Glenn, thank you very much for filling in.
Oh, thank you, Dallas. It's one of the greatest highlights of my life.
Beautiful.
See us.
All right, Glenn and Dallas and Glenn. Thanks, boys, for providing the review of the mounting yard from Rose Hill on Saturday.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of horses that will be winning next start.
Yeah, exactly. They might be lining up Saturday or the following Saturday, so keep an eye out. Just a reminder, the race speed profiles are back this weekend. Off a 3-week freshen up, $59 a meeting, and they're now available on our website. Grab them for the most professional and detailed preview of a race that you will get out there.
Yes, I'll be looking for Flemington this week. Couple of horses, I think Shiraz is down there.
Oh, Shiraz down there? Wow.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Okay.
Little race.
See how they all stack up, the Sydney horses. Let's do a quick little review of some of the products over the weekend. So the highlight is probably through the one to follow products. Starting with the daily shots, it's a new service that we offered free sign up as a tester, and the daily shots now are at 175% return on investment. So that's pretty cool. I know as you're providing a few here and there when you see them.
Tend to find a lot of the New South Wales ones. So I think one of the other boys in the office that does the Melbourne form.
He's doing very well.
Doing very well. Very well.
He's doing
We've
well.
had a few washed out meetings in Sydney and New South Wales area, so it's been good having Melbourne there.
But 175% return is not bad when you haven't paid a cent for them. So the daily shots now is a product on the website, so grab them. Steve Fletcher, the Fletch Files, he's been going for about 3 weeks now. He's up to 167% return. So
just
Fletch,
ticking over nicely, isn't he? Just
beautifully.
keep leaving, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Better than the share market. That 167%. You don't have to wait a year either.
That's good. But I always come back to it. It's great with the profit and everything, but just the advantages of getting this stuff has been so good. Just knowing when to back things, whether you back them early or back them late.
Yep.
For me, that's the key advantage with the Fletch set.
Yeah, and that's the there's a $20 service, and then there's also the detailed Fletcher service, which is just Sydney or Melbourne. So grab them both. Great descriptions on races and why they're backing horses and prices they're rated. So
yeah, I like the new format.
Yeah, new format launched last week. The Brisbane Bandit, he's had 3 winning weeks in July at 138% return. He's going really well. And the Punter's Bible, another product, 110% up for the year. So can't be.
Have a nice one.
Yeah, so they're going well. We had a quiet day with the Pro Bet Alive. John McLeod came home with Jopa as a nice little winner. So we
fancy him just coming home in the last 3 races again.
Very reliable and unlucky second as well at massive odds. So Johnny had a very good week. All right, as there was no Nick Ashman this week. You knew where Nick was though.
Yes, he's at the Sam Kavanagh inquiry for the next 2 days, and he's got a full solid 2 to possibly 3 days there. And I spoke to him briefly last night, and he said that, and you will be watching this as of this was filmed yesterday for us, but you would have already heard some of the things coming out. But I think the next 3 days is a lot's going to really get unravelled out of this story, and I think we'll get a good understanding of what's going to go on and what's going to happen moving forward.
Yeah, sounds interesting. And for you, mate, the week ahead?
Week ahead, we've got Warwick Farm Wednesday, a couple of lightly raced horses that I think will be looking towards black type racing. So, and the new 3-year-olds coming back, first time. A couple of really lightly raced, nice horses there as well.
Okay.
A few out of the trials. I see we also saw Metallic Crown and Sebring Sun, Montauk last week.
Yeah.
I believe Metallic Crown could be backing up this week in the Rosebud against another horse that we saw in Regis.
Wow.
Who trialled outstanding. So
okay.
Interesting.
And check our website for your little preview of trial horses in today.
Yeah.
At Warwick Farm.
This time of year, you see horses that could make their transition, especially as 3-year-olds, to the black type races, and they are starting in midweek. So your midweek racing this time of year is actually, there's not much between it and Saturday. At least 3 of those races, so it's exciting times.
Yeah, so always check the Punters Show website for Raz's previews of his Barry trial, watching and previews of form, etc.
Yeah, had a little bit of luck in the...
Yeah, I'll take the Jag was one that you nailed.
Yes, I think he's...
others.
Like to keep a close eye on him moving forward, stepping up over more distance. Possibly ridden a touch colder. I think he was ridden. He was ridden to win the other day, and he did well to do it.
Yeah, God bless it for the punters too.
Something for the punters.
Something for the punters. Thanks for joining us again. Look, just a reminder, the RSV profiles are back. You're pretty pumped up this weekend. The Sydney Insider. You finally got some decent horses to work with.
Yeah, I just hope we can get a little boost on the field sizes. The early noms were disgraceful. I think that's extended noms.
They extended them. I think they got
6 of the 8 races. Yeah. So, I know Bjorn stepped up and threw, I think, Zaratone in the missile.
Okay.
And hopefully we get a few more in the Rosebud to boost up that field volume.
Yeah, well, we're heating up for nice races in Sydney.
We're certainly getting very close. I think over the next 3 weeks we'll see the transition of those lesser horses into the good horses resuming.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining us for another week.
Thank you.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.